Alright, you cinematic connoisseurs of crap. Welcome to Crappy Film Reviewer, where we don't just nibble on the bad bits, we take a big juicy bite. Tonight's special, the supposed king of sci-fi sequels, Terminator 2, Judgment Day. Prepare yourselves, because beneath that shiny CGI surface lies a film with more holes than a pair of Speedos after a shark attack. Alright, buckle up film fanatics, because tonight on Crappy Film Reviewer we're diving headfirst into a supposed cinematic masterpiece that, let's be honest, has more holes than a block of Swiss cheese. We're talking about 1991's Terminator 2 Judgment Day, helmed by the one and only James Cameron. This flick throws Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the fray, this time as a surprisingly obedient babysitter bot, alongside the intensely ripped Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor, and a young and annoying AF Edward Furlong as the future leader with a penchant for petty crime, John Connor. Their idyllic family dynamic is rudely interrupted by the arrival of Robert Patrick as the T-1000, a shiny, shape-shifting menace sent from the future to give young John a permanent dirt nap. The basic gist: protect the kid, stop the robot apocalypse, and try not to spill too much liquid metal in the process. Now, everyone bangs on about how groundbreaking this was. Well, we'll see about that, won't we? Picking up a few years after the first robotic rumble, we find Sarah Connor, now looking like she could bench press a small car, locked away in a mental institution for her Terminator tales. Her teenage son, John, the future leader of the human resistance, is living with foster parents. But wouldn't you know it, Skynet, that pesky AI from the future, decides round 2 is in order.
Oh man! Oh god! Oh man!
They dispatch the T-1000, a swanky new liquid metal Terminator with a penchant for impersonation, to permanently delete young John from the timeline. This bloke can morph into anyone he touches, making him about as easy to shake as a persistent cough. However, future John isn't a complete dill. He sends back his own bodyguard, a reprogrammed T-800, the same model that tried to off his mum in the first place. Talk about a character arc.
Come with me if you want to live.
So now Arnie's playing the stoic protector, trying to keep his angsty teen out of the T-1000's slippery grasp. Sarah naturally busts out of the bin and joins the robo-nanny in their mission to keep John breathing.
And if you want to shine them on, it's hasta la vista, baby. And if someone gets upset, you say chill out.
Hasta la vista, baby.
They soon figure out that the key to the whole robot uprising lies with Cyberdyne Systems, the company on the verge of creating Skynet. Their brilliant plan? Blow the whole damn place sky high. Subtle they are not. Cue a whole lot of high-octane chases, explosions that defy physics, and Arnie delivering lines with the emotional range of a brick.
No problemo.
Give me 5. Just put out your hand like this, come on. All right, now hit me. Give me 5. All right.
The T-1000, being the persistent pest he is, keeps morphing and menacing, proving harder to shake than sand in your budgie smugglers. Eventually, they have a showdown in a steel mill, because where else would you have a final battle with a liquid metal robot?
Hasta la vista, baby.
You can do it!
In a surprisingly emotional finale, Arnie's T-800 realizes that even a tiny bit of his future tech could lead to Skynet's creation. So he decides to take a permanent bath in molten steel, giving a thumbs up that's more awkward than heartwarming. So the day is sort of saved, but the threat of Skynet still looms, leaving us with a profound message that the future is uncertain, but explosions and shiny bad guys are forever. Rightio then, let's really sink our teeth into this chrome-plated sausage roll Terminator 2, eh? Plot-wise, it certainly bolts along like a startled Roo that's just had a firecracker shoved up its... well, you get the picture. All flash and bang, keeping your eyeballs glued like flies to a honeypot. But the old grey matter, it took a sabbatical, probably down the pub having a few too many skewies. It's the same old stop the future badness snag we've chewed on before. Just this time, it's got a shiny liquid metal coating. Oh, fancy. The logic though, mate, it's got more holes than a pair of your granddad's holy socks after a bushwalk. And the ending? Arnie lowering himself into the molten spa like a robot taking a rather terminal bath? Bittersweet, maybe, if you're into that sort of thing, but the whole one chip could doom us all feels like a last-minute Hail Mary pass when the game was already lost. Satisfying, like a flat beer on a scorching Sydney day. Wet, but leaves you feeling a bit meh. Now, the characters. Shallow as a puddle after a 10-minute drizzle. Sarah's gone from screaming damsel to full-blown Sheila warrior, packing more heat than a summer arvo in the outback. Young John, your classic sulky teen, just with the added responsibility of not letting the robots win. And Arnie, bless his circuits, he's about as expressive as a fence post after 3 years in the sun. Motivations? They're there, lurking like a croc in a billabong, but subtle as a kick in the guts from a pissed-off kangaroo. Acting-wise, Arnie's serving up robotic realness. Hamilton's dialed the intensity up to 11. Furlong's just kinda existing. But Robert Patrick's creepy T-1000. Now that's a menace you could cut with a rusty butter knife. He embodies don't trust this bloke like a politician embodies broken promises. Cameron's vision? Big, loud and shiny. More interested in showing off his digital toys than tickling our emotional funny bones. Visually, the liquid metal was grouse for its time, like seeing a magic trick that actually looked kinda real. But some of the sets and costumes, screaming early 90s, louder than a flock of cockatoos at dawn. The camera chases, the explosions, and the shiny bloke alright, but exploring the deeper meanings, nah, it's more about the look at this cool thing go boom factor. Genre-wise, it ticks all the action sci-fi boxes. Time travel, killer robots, enough explosions to make Michael Bay blush. The good Terminator twist? A bit of a cheeky subversion, I'll give him that. It delivers the promised goods. Shiny robots, smashing into things real good. But if you're after a deep dive into the existential dread of artificial intelligence, or the complexities of human-machine relationships, you'll have more luck finding a sober bloke at a bucks party. Basically, T2 is a loud, flashy spectacle that'll keep your eyes busy while your brain chucks a mental sickie. Cheers and don't expect any profound revelations while you're watching it. You'll get more enlightenment trying to understand the rules of backyard cricket. Alright, so we've wrestled with this chrome-plated beast, haven't we? And after all the explosions and liquid metal shenanigans, what's the final tally on Terminator 2 Judgment Day from your mate at Crappy Film Reviewer?
My rug! You puked on my rug!
Well, let's just say if this flick was a beer, it'd be a lukewarm tinny you found under the couch. It'll do in a pinch, but you wouldn't write home about it. While it certainly flexed the CGI muscles back in the day and delivered enough bang for your buck to rattle the neighbours' windows, beneath that shiny surface lies a story with more holes than a pair of footy socks after extra time, and characters about as deep as a puddle in the Simpson desert. The acting ranges from wooden to wildly overcooked, and the plot, let's just say logic took a bit of a sickie on this one. So, should you chuck your precious dollary dues at this supposed cinematic icon?
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
If you're after a brain off, eyes glued to the screen action spectacle with robots doing cool melty things, then yeah, maybe give it a burl. But if you're after something with a bit more substance, characters you actually give a stuff about, and a plot that doesn't require you to leave your brain at the door, you might find yourself feeling as ripped off as a tourist at a Bondi souvenir shop. Ultimately, Terminator 2 is like that bloke at the bar who's all biceps and no brains. Looks impressive from a distance, but the conversation leaves you feeling a bit empty. It's a cinematic sausage roll. Looks good on the outside, has some tasty bits, but the filling can be a bit questionable if you chew on it for too long. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you still frothing over this flick? Or have you finally seen through this shiny CGI facade? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and maybe chuck us a few dollary doos if you're feeling generous. You stay crappy, Internet.
I don't know how much longer I can hold this.
Go back! Everybody out! Go back now! Go!